I think she's horrible and she's made up this whole thing because she tried to steal his movie. But he is the most overly feminized man I've had to endure in recent history. Everything he says is self-flagellating over the fact that he's a man. But he's, to me, is sort of the embodiment of what happens when you totally emasculate a man. And then she continued, she took that stiletto and stuck it in his heart when he was down there self-flagellating, being so sorry for anything having to do with his testosterone. And so that's what happens to you, right? You run into somebody who seems like a witch who will take advantage of you and hurt you until finally even that kind of a guy rises up. Now, he didn't do it himself exactly. He hired a badass named Brian Friedman. And he has badass women like me defending him. Mm-hmm. But slowly but surely, I think the male class is learning down on the floor, squirming and apologizing for being a man.
Have you ever been accused of something you didn't do? Then you might relate to what Justin Baldoni's going through right now. Blake Lively just hit him with a major accusation in court, and it's got everyone talking. But Justin's not staying quiet. He's fighting back, and his response is making waves. Want to know how he's defending himself? And what this means for both their futures in Hollywood? Stay tuned. Remember when Blake Lively was just that girl from Gossip Girl? Well, she's stirring up some real-life drama now. And it's way juicier than anything Serena Vander Woodson ever got into. Picture this, a packed courtroom. All eyes on Blake as she steps up to the witness stand. The air is thick with tension, and you can hear a pin drop as everyone waits for her to speak. And boy, did she speak? Blake dropped a bombshell accusation against Justin Baldoni. That left everyone's jaws on the floor. But what exactly did she say? It's not your typical Hollywood feud, that's for sure. This isn't about who wore it better or who stole whose role. No, Blake's words sent shockwaves through the room. Even the judge looked stunned. You could see the color drain from Justin's face as Blake spoke. It was like watching a scene from a movie, except this was all too real. Let's break down what she actually said. You might want to sit down for this. Blake claims that Justin has been running a secret underground network in Hollywood, but not just any network. We're talking about a group that's been manipulating casting decisions and even award show results. Can you believe it? According to Blake, Justin's been using his charm and connections to influence who gets what role and who takes. Own those shiny trophies. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. Blake didn't just stop at accusing Justin of rigging the game. She went on to claim that he's been using this network to push certain actors out of the industry altogether. Talk about playing dirty. She even named a few up-and-coming stars who mysteriously disappeared from the spotlight after crossing paths with Justin. The accusation touches on some pretty sensitive topics in Hollywood right now. We're talking about power, influence, and the dark side of showbiz that nobody likes to talk about. It's like Blake just pulled back the curtain on Oz. And what's behind it isn't pretty. We've got to talk about the timing. Why did Blake choose this moment to speak out? Some people are saying it's because she's got a new project coming up and wants the publicity. Others think she's been holding on to this information for years, waiting for the right moment to strike. Either way, her timing couldn't have been more dramatic if it was scripted. As the courtroom erupted into chaos, Justin's face said it all. But what was he really thinking? Was that a look of guilt? Or just shock at being blindsided? Some eyewitnesses swear they saw a smirk flash across his face for just a second. Could it be that he's not as surprised by these allegations as he's letting on? Now, here's the real kicker. Blake claims Justin used his influence to sabotage her own career. According to her testimony, she was up for a major role in a blockbuster franchise, but it mysteriously went to another actress at the last minute. And guess who was seen having lunch with the director just days before the decision? That's right, our boy Justin. But is there more to the story? Some industry insiders are whispering that Blake might not be as innocent as she's making herself out to be. There are rumors floating around that she's been part of her own little power circle in Hollywood, Could this be a case of the pot calling the kettle black? With tensions high, all eyes turn to Justin. How will he respond to these serious allegations? Will he deny everything and call Blake a liar? Or will he come clean and expose even more of Hollywood's dirty secrets? Just when everyone thought Justin would crumble under the pressure, he does something that leaves the entire courtroom speechless. You won't believe what happens next. As Justin's lawyer stands up, ready to defend his client, Justin surprises everyone by waving him off. That's right, folks. Justin Baldoni wants to speak for himself. Can you imagine the tension in that room? You could hear a pin drop as everyone waits to see what Justin has to say, but here's where it gets really interesting. Instead of launching into a heated denial, Justin addresses Blake directly. And let me tell you, his words are not what anyone expected. He starts off by saying, "Blake, I understand why you're doing this, but you're not telling the whole story. Now hold on to your seats because this is where things get wild." Justin pulls out his phone right there in the courtroom. Is he seriously about to present evidence on the spot? The judge looks bewildered, but before anyone can object, Justin's already scrolling through his device as he speaks. We see a side of Justin we've never seen before. He's raw, emotional, and is that anger we detect? It's like watching a completely different person. Gone is the polished actor we're used to seeing on our screens. This Justin is all fired up and ready to set the record. He brings up past events that shed new light on their relationship. And let me tell you, it seems like Blake might have left out some pretty crucial details. Justin talks about a charity event they both attended 3 years ago. According to him, that's where things started to go south. Blake approached me about a role she wanted. Justin explains, his voice trembling slightly, but it wasn't just any role. It was for a project. I was developing a project she knew was deeply personal to me. The judge tries to maintain order, but the courtroom is buzzing. This is better than any TV drama. People are whispering, lawyers are frantically scribbling notes, and all eyes are darting between Justin and Blake. But wait, there's more. Justin reveals that he actually tried to help Blake land the role she wanted. I set up meetings. I made calls, he says, his voice rising. But when the studio decided to go in a different direction, suddenly I'm the bad guy. And then comes the bombshell. Justin pulls up an email on his phone. An email from Blake herself. "Your Honor, I'd like to submit this as evidence," he says, his voice steady now. This is an email from Blake, dated just 2 weeks before the casting decision was made. The contents of that email, well, let's just say it paints a very different picture of their relationship. In it, Blake thanks Justin for his help and says she understands if she doesn't get the part. She even jokes about buying him a drink either way. As Justin finished reading the email, you can practically feel the shockwaves rippling through the courtroom. This unexpected defense has turned the tables on Blake's accusation. People are muttering, shaking their heads, trying to process this new information. But here's the kicker. Justin's not done yet. He looks directly at Blake, his eyes intense. "I've always supported you, Blake," he says. "I thought we were friends. So why are you really doing this?" And just like that, the ball is back in Blake's court. How will she react to this unexpected defense? The tension in the room is so thick you could cut it with a knife. Just when you thought the drama couldn't get any juicier, Hollywood decides to throw its hat into the ring. The courtroom showdown between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni has set Tinseltown ablaze, and now everyone's picking sides. It's like high school all over again, but with way more money and millions of followers watching. As news of the explosive accusation spread faster than a viral TikTok dance, celebrities started chiming in left and right. And let me tell you, the reactions are not what you'd expect. It's like someone shook up a soda can of Hollywood egos and popped the top. First up, we've got Ryan Reynolds, Blake's hubby and everyone's favorite Deadpool. Now, you'd think he'd be all guns blazing in defense of his wife, right? Well, hold on to your popcorn, because Ryan's response is about as clear as mud. He posted a picture of a tightrope walker with the caption, "Balance is everything." Is he trying to stay neutral? Is it a hidden message to Blake? Or is he just really into circus acts these days? The internet is going wild with theories. But wait, there's more. Justin's Jane, the Virgin co-stars aren't sitting this one out. Gina Rodriguez, who played Jane herself, posted a throwback pic of the cast with the caption, "Family sticks together through thick and thin. Hashtag Team Justin." Ouch. That's gotta sting for Blake, and she's not alone. Jaime Camel and Yael Grobglass have both retweeted Gina's post, adding their own supportive messages. It's like a Jane the Virgin reunion, but with way more drama than any telenovela. Now, you'd think other celebs would learn from Ryan's cryptic approach and keep their mouths shut, right? Wrong. Social media has turned into a virtual boxing ring, with stars throwing punches left and right. Chrissy Teigen, never one to hold back, tweeted maybe some people should stick to acting and leave the network running to the pros. Shots fired, but who's she aiming at? On the flip side, Reese Witherspoon is calling for calm. She posted a long Instagram message urging everyone to remember that there are real people behind these headlines and to wait for all the facts before jumping to conclusions. Always the voice of reason, that Reese. But not everyone's following Reese's lead. Some stars are adding so much fuel to the fire, you'd think they were trying to start a bonfire in Malibu. Zendaya, who's worked with both Blake and Justin in the past, liked a tweet that said, "Sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction." Hashtag Hollywood secrets. What does she know that we don't? Behind the scenes, it's absolute chaos. Agents and publicists are working harder than a barista during the morning rush. You can bet your bottom dollar that phones are ringing off the hook as everyone tries to figure out how this mess will affect their clients' careers. Will brands start pulling sponsorships? Will upcoming projects get shelved? It's like a game of Hollywood Jenga, and no one knows which piece will make the whole thing come crashing down. But just when you think you've got a handle on who's on which team, someone comes along and flips the whole script. Enter Meryl Streep. Yes, the Meryl Streep. The queen of acting herself decided to weigh in, and boy, did she drop a bombshell dot in an interview with Entertainment Weekly? Meryl said, "I've known Justin for years, and while I can't speak to these specific allegations, I can say that he's always been a champion for women in this industry. He's pushed for equal pay, better roles, and more opportunities behind the camera. Whatever's happening now, we can't forget that. Well, slap me silly and call me Susan. Did anyone see that coming?" Meryl Streep, with her truck full of Oscars, essentially throwing her support behind Justin. This isn't just a plot twist, it's a whole new movie. As the courtroom drama unfolds, Hollywood is holding its breath. Who will come out on top in this battle of the stars? Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's careers are hanging by a thread, and the industry is buzzing with speculation. Will Blake's bold accusations pay off? Or will Justin's defense win over Tinseltown? But here's the real kicker. This isn't just about Blake and Justin anymore. This case has pulled back the curtain on Hollywood's dirty little secrets. What other skeletons are hiding in those list closets? It's like we're watching a real-life episode of Gossip Girl, but with way higher stakes. And get this, the ripple effects are already being felt. According to industry insiders, some big-name celebs are suddenly canceling meetings and laying low. Could they be next on the chopping block? As we keep digging into this juicy Hollywood feud, one thing's for sure, the glitz and glamour of Tinseltown will never look quite the same again.